Well, he called me a liar, but he of course, LaRussa knew exactly what was going on.
This player is going to play.
Between you and Royce?
Between me and Royce. He said, the guy that plays the best is going to be the player. I said, well, Tony, I got no problem with that.
He's a monster. That is how Tony La Russa could feel to a player who wanted to be free. He was not a normal manager. He watched everything. He questioned everything. He wanted control of the whole team. Stars who were used to doing things their own way suddenly felt small. But the same hard man who scared these legends also became one of the biggest winners the game has ever seen. I am Mason, and this is Baseball Icons. So how could one manager be both feared and respected by some of the greatest players who ever lived? That is the story today. 7 proud legends, all of them famous, all of them shaken by the same demanding man. And if stories like this make you feel the heat of old school baseball, use the hype feature and give this video hype, because this one is about a manager whose pressure could change a whole clubhouse. To understand the fear, you have to understand the man. Tony La Russa went to law school. He thought like a lawyer. He planned like one too. He did not just fill out a lineup card and sit back. He shaped the game pitch by pitch. He changed how managers used relief pitchers. He brought in the one-inning closer. He matched left-handed pitchers against left-handed hitters and right against right. He set his defense in special ways for each batter. The old manager used to watch the game. La Russa ran it. But a plan like that only works if every player buys in. La Russa needed total trust. He split fear into 2 kinds. He called one good fear. Good fear made a player sharp and ready for the big moment. He called the other bad fear. Bad fear meant a player was scared of the moment and was not ready for it. There was a reason behind all of this. Early in his career, a mentor named Paul Richards gave him advice. He told La Russa to never manage out of fear of losing his job. So La Russa coached with bold, fearless moves. He trusted his own plan over everything else. He would rather lose his way than win someone else's. That mindset gave him huge power. He managed for many years and won 2,728 games, the 3rd most in history. Team owners loved him for it. That kind of record gave him a strong grip on every clubhouse he walked into. When you win that much, people listen to you. He was not trying to be liked. He was trying to win. That made him hard to play for. It also made him very hard to play against. And it set the stage for clash after clash with men who were used to being the star. So let us count them down, starting from number 7. Number 7 is Ron Gant. Gant was a strong all-star outfielder. He could hit the ball a long way and run the bases hard. He had power and pride, and he was not afraid to speak his mind. After the 1998 season, the Cardinals traded him to the Philadelphia Phillies. Once he was out of La Russa's reach, Gant let it all out. He went after La Russa's strange lineups. La Russa liked to bat the pitcher in the 8th spot and put Mark McGwire 3rd. Gant said moves like that made the Cardinals look like the laughingstock of the league. La Russa hit back fast. He mocked Gant's strikeouts in the press. He just said, whiff, whiff, whiff. Then Gant made a much bigger claim. He said many of the players who clashed with La Russa or got pushed out were black. He named Ricky Henderson, Royce Clayton, Brian Jordan, and Ozzie Smith. He told people to do the math on La Russa's record with these players. This was a heavy charge, but it did not last. La Russa had deep power in baseball. He had friends in the media and with team owners. Gant must have felt that heat. A long public fight with a man that powerful could end a career fast. Few players ever won a war like that, so Gant backed down. When he got to Phillies spring training in 1999, he gave a full apology. He said sorry to the fans and to La Russa. He took back what he had said. The man who had spoken so loud just weeks before now stood and walked it all back. We should be fair here. Gant made the claim, then he took it back. We do not call it proven. But the point is clear. Even after a player left the team, going after La Russa still felt risky. His long reach did not stop at the clubhouse door. Number 6 is Dave Parker. They called him the Cobra. He was a huge, scary hitter. He helped the Oakland Athletics win the 1989 World Series. As a player under La Russa in Oakland, Parker was fine with him. He liked the manager's sharp mind and his straight talk. But things changed later. In the late 1990s, Parker came to the Cardinals as a coach under La Russa. That is when he learned how much La Russa truly wanted. La Russa believed coaching took everything you had. He wanted total focus on the team. He left no room for outside work or side projects. Parker had a busy business life away from baseball. La Russa did not like that. He felt it split Parker's focus and pulled his mind away from the game. To him, half a heart was not enough. The pressure grew and grew. In 1998, Parker left the Cardinals. La Russa did not stay quiet about it. He told the press that the entrepreneur side of Parker stopped him from giving all of himself to coaching. He said it out loud. for everyone to hear. Think about what that shows. LaRussa's standard was not just for young players. It was for everyone, a champion, a legend, a coach. All of them had to be fully locked in, or they were out. Even the Cobra, a man who scared pitchers for years, could not slip past that rule. Number 5 is Rickey Henderson. Rickey was the best leadoff hitter and base stealer the game has ever seen. No one stole more bases than he did. His game was speed, feel, and freedom. He stole bases on his own instinct. He played fast, and he played free. LaRussa knew Rickey's speed was a weapon, but he wanted that weapon aimed by the team, not just set loose. So he tried to control Rickey's choices on the bases. He used the score, the moment, and the numbers to decide when Rickey should run. Nothing was left to chance. This drove Rickey crazy. He was told to bunt at times. He was told to hit and run. He was told to play it safe and hold back. To a man built on freedom, this felt like a cage. The team plan now sat above his own gift. He had spent his whole life trusting his legs and his eyes, and now a checklist was telling him what to do. Ron Gant saw it up close. Gant said Rickey hated how hard LaRussa pushed. He felt the manager wanted to take Rickey's freedom away just to build his own name as a smart, modern boss. But here is the other side. LaRussa was not blind to how great Rickey was. He simply believed that even the best weapon had to follow the plan. That is why players feared him. He could look a legend in the eye and still say, "Do it my way." The pressure to follow his checklist made the clubhouse tense. In the end, even a record-breaking talent like Rickey could not change LaRussa's mind. In 1993, the clash ended the only way it could. Rickey was traded to the Toronto Blue Jays. The greatest base stealer of all time could not steal his freedom back from LaRussa. Number 4 is Jose Canseco. This is the darkest part of the story. Canseco's fight with LaRussa was tied to the steroid era and a wall of silence that covered the whole sport at the time. In 2005, Canseco wrote a book called Juiced. In it, he said steroid use was all over the Oakland clubhouse. He said he even injected his teammate Mark McGwire, and he claimed LaRussa knew more than he ever admitted. We have to be careful here. This is Canseco's claim, and only his claim. We are not calling it proven fact, but it is part of why he feared the manager so much. Canseco was scared of LaRussa's power. LaRussa could shape how the whole game saw a player. He had spent years building a name as a baseball genius. When Canseco broke baseball's code and spoke out, LaRussa hit back hard. He branded Canseco a liar and a snitch. He used his media friends to tear down Canseco's name. Soon Canseco was shut out of the game he once ruled. The doors closed, one by one. Now look at the other side. LaRussa stood by Mark McGwire. He said McGwire's power came from hard work, not from anything else. Even when McGwire later admitted steroid use and joined the Cardinals as hitting coach in 2010, LaRussa helped guide the story and protect his man. He kept his own name clean as the manager who never knew. We are not praising silence about steroids. That is not the lesson here. The lesson is loyalty. LaRussa would fight to the end for a player he believed in, but that same loyalty was scary to anyone who broke from the group. If you were in, he protected you. If you stepped out, he could erase you. Number 3 is Carlton Fisk. Fisk was a Hall of Fame catcher and a proud leader. He joined the Chicago White Sox in 1981. Fast, he became the heart of that team, on the field and in the clubhouse. At first, LaRussa helped him. In 1983, Fisk was stuck in a bad slump. LaRussa moved him to the number 2 spot in the order. It worked. Fisk got going again, and the White Sox won the American League West. But trouble grew as LaRussa's plans got bigger. Fisk was a catcher of the old school. He took huge pride in running the pitching staff himself. He wanted to call the game from behind the plate. That was his job, his pride, his control. LaRussa's new style took some of that away. He brought in reliever after reliever in the late innings. He made move after move from the bench. The more the bullpen grew, the less Fisk could steer. The power slid from the catcher to the dugout. Fisk used to run the game from behind the plate. Now LaRussa ran it from the bench. Then came the injury fight. LaRussa hated when players hid pain or sat out without his okay. When Fisk kept a hand injury quiet, LaRussa came down on him hard. After that, the two men pulled apart. Fisk said he was just not up for that kind of scrutiny. The trust that built their early years had worn thin. Here is the fair view. LaRussa asked even proud veterans to accept one thing. The plan was bigger than any one player, and bigger than any one ego. That made him hard to love. It also made his teams sharp, set, and ready when the game was on the line. He wanted order, and order is what he got. Number 2 is Scott Rowland. Rowland was a star third baseman. His glove and his bat were the core of the strong Cardinals teams in the mid-2000s. But his story with La Russa is about injury, trust, and control. In May 2005, Rowland crashed into Hee-Se-up Choi near first base. He hurt his shoulder badly. Soon a big fight started over the injury. Rowland and his agents felt the team was not telling the truth about how bad it was. They felt the team rushed him back too fast. They even pushed for outside doctors and their own surgery. La Russa saw this as a threat to the team. To him, going outside the team for help broke trust. He wanted everyone inside the same wall. Then came the 2006 playoffs. Rowland went hitless in Game 1 of the League Series. La Russa benched him for Game 2 and played Scott Spiezio instead. Rowland did come back later, and he hit .421 in the World Series. That is a huge number, but the benching left a deep mark. The trust was already gone, and a great World Series could not bring it back. After the 2007 season, La Russa sent Rowland a 4-page letter. In it, he ripped Rowland's attitude, his body language, and his loyalty. It was personal and harsh. Then the team held a vote on whether La Russa should come back. Rowland was the only player to vote no. He stood alone. That was the end. In January 2008, Rowland was traded to the Toronto Blue Jays for Troy Glaus. The lesson is hard but clear. La Russa wanted total buy-in from everyone. He did not care how good you were. If he thought you were not all the way in, you were gone. And now number 1, Ozzie Smith. This is the most painful clash of them all. If you only remember one story from this video, remember this one. Ozzie was a true icon in St. Louis. People called him the Wizard. He won 13 Gold Gloves in a row. He won a World Series. He gave 14 years to the Cardinals. Many say he is the best defensive shortstop the game has ever seen. Fans loved him. Kids tried to copy his backflips. He was the face of the team. In 1996, La Russa took over the team. Ozzie was coming back from shoulder surgery. He wanted to keep his spot at shortstop. La Russa told him the job would be won in spring training, based on play. That sounded fair. Ozzie believed him. So look at the spring. Ozzie hit .288 and made 0 errors. The young Royce Clayton hit just .190 and made 8 errors. By the numbers, Ozzie won easily. It was not even close. But La Russa still gave the job to Clayton. He said Clayton had more range and was the future of the team. The Wizard, at 41, was pushed to the bench in his own city. To Ozzie, this felt like a knife in the back. He felt La Russa had broken his word. He had played his heart out and earned the job, and it still was not enough. To La Russa, it was about range, youth, and where the team was headed. He looked at the future, not the past. We should not paint La Russa as a cartoon villain here. This was cold, yes, but it showed exactly why he was feared. He would make the painful call if he thought it helped the team. He would even bench a beloved legend who had given everything to the city. On June 19, 1996, Ozzie announced his retirement in tears. He used that press conference to say La Russa had broken his word in front of the whole world. It was a sad way for a great career to end. And the pain did not stop there. Even after Ozzie's playing days ended, La Russa blocked him from coming back as a guest instructor. He said Ozzie was not welcome in any place where he was in charge. That lockout lasted for years. A man who gave his best years to that city was kept away from it. Think about that for a moment. If La Russa could push aside the Wizard in his own city, in front of his own fans, then no legend was ever truly safe. That is the heart of the fear. It was not loud yelling. It was the quiet knowledge that he would do whatever he believed the team needed, no matter who it hurt. Even the most loved man on the roster could be moved aside. So was La Russa unbeatable? Not quite. There was one man who would not bend to him at all. His name was Dusty Baker. Baker played a little under La Russa in 1986. Later, he became a manager too, and a fierce rival. For years, the two men fought. There were brawls. There were shouting matches. There were public spats. But Baker never let La Russa get inside his head. After one heated clash at Wrigley Field in 2003, Baker said it plain. He said nobody scared him but his dad, Bob Gibson, and a bully from grade school. And he said he grew bigger than that bully, so the bully could not push him around. By naming Bob Gibson, a pitcher who truly scared hitters, Baker made a sharp point. La Russa's fear was made inside a building. It came from his status and his control. Take a man outside that building, and the spell could break. Baker would not play along, so the magic did not work on him. That does not make La Russa weak. It shows where his power really came from. Structure, plans, status, control of the room, inside his own walls, that power was huge. Most men bent to it. Baker just happened to be one who did not. So this is the paradox of Tony La Russa. His ways could break trust. He benched icons. He clashed with stars. He called out players. He pushed people until they bought in or left for good. He could be cold. He could be harsh. He He could make a Hall of Famer feel like a stranger in his own clubhouse. But those same hard ways helped him win 2,728 games. They helped him win 3 World Series titles, with 2 teams, years apart. They built a Hall of Fame career that the game will never forget. The pressure was real, but so were the wins. The legends were not scared of La Russa just because he was mean. They were scared because he could change their role in a moment. He could test their pride. He could question their loyalty. And then he could point at all those wins to prove his way worked. It is hard to argue with a man who keeps winning. He was not always loved. He was not always forgiven. But in baseball, he was almost always taken seriously. And sometimes, that is the kind of power that scares legends most. The fear was not empty. It was built on standards, on planning, and on a belief that winning had to come first. That belief made him hard to play for. It also made him one of the greatest managers the game has ever known.